A direct descendant of primitive horses, the Exmoor is an extremely old small horse, which has not undergone various crossbreeding, which makes it a very pure breed. The first wild pony arrived in the UK from Alaska around 130,000 years ago. They evolved in the British Isles alongside animals such as the mammoth and the fearsome predator, known by the generic, but incorrect, name of the saber-toothed tiger. For 100,000 years, it managed to adapt to very difficult living conditions, until the arrival of another predator, man. Their meat was a significant source of food for Stone Age hunters, not to mention that their skin and fat were essential to the survival of the population during the winter. About 9,600 years ago, climate change limited lowland grazing, and horses became isolated on the highlands known as the British Hill Pony. It was when the Celts settled in the country that these wild horses were tamed. The first written records of the Exmoor are found in the Domesday Book when the moors were designated the Royal Forest of Exmoor. The royalty made the decision in 1818 to cede this natural area to an industrialist named John Knight, who was determined to invest in improving the horses on his new property. His attempts at improvement were, for a time, met with great success, but subsequently the number of horses dwindled, and eventually the herd disappeared. Fortunately, breeders had previously acquired horses from John Knight. Sir Thomas Ackland purchased 30, which enabled him to found the Ackland herd, which still exists on Winsford Hill. Farmers from Withypool and Hawkridge, who had worked for Sir Thomas Ackland, also established flocks, of which numbers 1, 10, 12, 23 and 44 still exist. They established the Exmoor Pony Society in 1921, at the Lion Inn in Dulverton, which enabled the Exmoor to be recorded in a pedigree register. But promoting Exmoor away from its breeding area was complicated, as it often involved an entire expedition. For example, to participate in a presentation in the Islington district of London, approximately 330 kilometers away, you had to walk a distance of almost 30 kilometers, to Dunster Station, to then transport the horses by train. This is why abroad the Exmoor has remained in the shadow of other pony breeds. In his country, he was widely employed in all the tasks of daily life at the time, such as transport, hunting and fieldwork. At the same time, many herds lived far from the influence of men, in complete freedom on the moors of Exmoor. Its popularity was established in the 1930s, particularly as a riding pony for children. The stories in the book Moorland Mousie, published in 1929, probably played a role. Like many horse breeds, the late 1940s almost brought Exmoor to extinction. One of the main causes being that the famine had pushed part of the population to steal horses for their meat. In the years immediately after the war, Mary Etherington and James Grantspeed, co-founders of the Exmoor Pony Society, brought breeders together to ensure that the herds were protected. Although the breed is well monitored today, its threat level remains worrying. At the last census, there were a maximum of 300 mares capable of breeding, making them a breed in critical danger of extinction. It is to be hoped that conservation measures have not come too late for this rare and precious little horse, the Exmoor.